Today, in the nerdy news you need to know about, Giant Bomb has gone independent. Nintendo speaks up about tariffs, and could the Fallout TV show last for 6 seasons? We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Monday, May 12th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Giant Bomb's Jeffrey Grubb.
That's right. Well, I'm here. Let's make it happen. I am one of the co-owners of Giant Bomb.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. How many co-owners of Giant Bomb are there now?
God, there's like 50. It's crazy. There's too many. We got to do something about that. Yeah, we made this happen. Fandom really helped us make it happen. We are now independent, and we signed an agreement to make it all happen. Basically, it's in the works. But yeah, no, you're looking at us. We have everything. It's all in our hands now, and that means we're gonna be out in front of people making stuff and asking for support once again. So I don't know. I have a ton of energy. I'm ready to get to work.
Well, you are story number one. Once again, what a difference a week makes, right? Last time you were here, Jeff Grubb is here and he's unemployed because you had quit. And now you're back as the owner. Ago. The owner, yeah. one of the owners of Giant Bomb. So there's a lot to talk about, and there's no time to waste because that's obviously what everybody wants to talk about. Get your super chats in for Jeff Grubb over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Thank you to everybody over on twitch.tv who's coming in for the first time. I see a whole bunch of first-time chatters because Giant Bomb has a great audience. We have a great audience, and it's chocolate and peanut butter over here. But I digress. We'll talk about in that 1 second alongside so much more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, of course, be part of the show live as we record on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames with your YouTube super chats. If you love the content here and want to pick it up later, of course, you can get it all on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You could get it on podcast services around the globe, but most importantly, you could get it with your Kind of Funny membership. Kind of Funny, of course, is a small business of 11 people independently making a bunch of video game content, a lot like that there, Giant Bomb. And of course, over on patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple and Spotify, you can pick up the Kind of Funny membership, get all of our shows ad-free, get an exclusive show called Greg Wave from me, and of course, get good karma for supporting a small business while you get an hour-long podcast from me each and every week, while you get 80 episodes of content ad-free each and every month. If you can support, it would mean a lot to us, but if not, no big deal. Like, subscribe, share, and of course, tell your friends about us. Housekeeping, a round of applause, everybody, for the tastemaker, Roger Picorni. For the master of hype, Snowbike Mike, who for some reason streamed 60-plus hours of Death Stranding over the weekend, all while walking. It was a walkathon, streamathon, where, of course, y'all came out on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to subscribe, to support, and make sure these people had to walk the entire freaking weekend. What do you got for me there, Bear?
All while walking, or like partially while walking and partially while ordering dinner?
Don't get mad at the elusive man. Don't get mad at the elusive man in front of his giant screen and his Red Robin burger. All
Somehow,
right?
Every time I checked in on them, it was always dinner ordering time, and Mike is just staring up at that TV, having Roger explain to him what fucking menus are.
If you want to go to the subreddit, I think even on maybe retweets on the Kind of Funny account, Barrett, and eventually throw one up when you can. There's plenty of shots in fan art of Mike in front of our giant TV, 10 inches away, ordering. I had to talk him out in the Twitch chat of ordering a Red Robin pizza. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They wanted to get a pizza from Red Robin?
That's what he was starting to do. That's in the chat was telling him.
Hey,
no.
To be fair, that's Donato's. That's Ohio grown. That's actually not bad pizza. All right, but no, get a burger from Red Robin.
Of course, it's Ohio. You're going to come out and defend it. All right, Grubb. You can't be.
I'm also from Ohio. I would not defend Red Robin. No.
No, we're not going to do that here. We're not going to do that. After Games Daily today, of course, we are a live talk show network. We start every day with Games Daily at 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll roll into the Kind of Funny Gamescast, where your Death Stranding 2 questions will be answered by Blessing Adeoye Jr. and Giant Bomb co-owner Dan Ryckert. Dan joining us, and Andy and Tim to answer their questions since they haven't played 30 hours of it. And of course, answer your questions live. After the Gamescast is The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4, 5? Spoiler cast,
5.
Whichever one. 5. With me, Tim, and Nick. And then after that is the stream of some bodacious video games. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you'll get today's Greg Way later. I had to drive Jen to the airport, and I didn't record it in the car like I normally do. But you'll get it. Don't you worry. I'll probably end up talking about Giant Bomb. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by Shady Rays, Aura Frames, and Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
We begin with the biggest story in video games this year. Fandom sells Giant Bomb to independent creators. We start with the press release from Fandom. Fandom, the world's largest fan platform, is selling Giant Bomb to longtime Giant Bomb staff and gaming content creators Jeff Bakalar and Jeff Grubb. Financials of the deal were not disclosed. Giant Bomb's programming, which was paused in order to work out the terms of this deal, will resume as quickly as possible. More details will be communicated by Giant Bomb's new owners. The statement from Fandom, quote, Fandom has made the strategic decision to transition Giant Bomb back to its independent roots, and the brand has been acquired by longtime staff and content creators Jeff Bakalar and Jeff Grubb, who will now own and operate the site independently. Fans are at the core of everything we do at Fandom, and we're committed to not only serving them, but also supporting the creators they love, and the sale of Giant Bomb represents a natural extension of that mission. We're confident Giant Bomb is in good hands, and its legacy will live on with Jeff and Jeff. The joint statement from the Jeffs goes, quote, Giant Bomb is now owned by the people who make Giant Bomb, and it would not have been possible without the speedy efforts of Fandom and our mutual agreement on what's best for fans and creators. The future of Giant Bomb is now in the hands of our supporting community who have always had our backs no matter what. We'll have a lot more to say about what this looks like soon, but for now, everyone can trust that all the support we receive goes directly to this team.
Yeah, man, it was a long week, but I'm glad to be here.
I don't know where you want to start tackling this one, Jeff Grubb, because I have about a gajillion questions about all of this, both when I've talked to you off the record long ago, when I talked to you more recently, I ran into Dan in Montreal. There's a lot of moving parts to this that I would jump cut to Friday night when you all put up your tweet. Everybody, the Giant Bomb Twitter popped off, or Blue Sky popped off, then all of you individually popped up with the same thing. Join us for our PAX East panel. Here's the date. Here's the time. And everybody was in a flutter. And I texted Dan, Dirty Dan Ryckert, and of course he would not tell me straight up what was happening. So I was left to hypothesize to the chat, and then Jen and I together while making dinner. And I was like, it's got to be that they're buying Giant Bomb. And we were both but business deals like that don't move this quickly. This is an outrageous amount of time for this to have gone from, hey, we have questions about brand safety to, hey, we're gone to now, hey, to all of a sudden Saturday to a standing ovation so well deserved at PAX East. You guys get to say you own it. How the fuck did this happen, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for all of it. And I don't really know. It was such a blur. The possibility of this was something that was floated around the time that I was leaving Fandom. But the exact details of how it go down, we can't talk about a lot of the specifics. But the general sort of timeline there was I think we realized on both sides we had the same idea about the way to solve our various problems with okay, Giant Bomb, how do we make this work, or how do we make sure that the people who love this site and the people on there are happy, because that is what everyone seemed to want. That, and it would never have been possible had everyone on each side not identified that as a common important theme of, hey, let's do what's right for this audience. So with that in mind, and sort of with that PAX panel looming as a real timeline, a marker of being like, hey, if we announce there, this will be best for everybody. It really forced us to get a deal done very fast. So I was in meetings all day, every day for the entirety of last week, even in Boston, flew into Boston for PAX, and I spent most of that time in a hotel room talking to other people. But it was worth it. We got it done. And it was quite amazing to be able to go into that room and tell people that, hey, just 24 hours earlier, we made this happen.
Incredible. So awesome. And I think, you can stop me if I'm misreading it, but even based on what you said there, based on the statements and everything else, a rare one, especially based on the week and a half it's been, 2 weeks, shout out to Fandom on this. Like, I think it would have been very easy for Fandom to be a giant corporation and say, well, we own this brand and you don't matter and we're going to rebuild it, or we're going to put it on the shelf and you don't get to have it. Go make up a new name, do something else. They could have done all these things, and I don't know what negotiations were like or what those, and I'm not asking you to get into specifics about them, but the fact that you were able to do this does speak to the fact that at least someone over there was like, listen, this brand is the personalities. Like, you have to make this work this way.
Yeah, I think I said this during the PAX panel, but it's true. I lived it. Their instinct for what should we do when we are faced with a situation like this, what is it that we should do? And their instinct was to turn toward, well, what is the most fan-supporting solution? And this is what they spotted this as a possibility. They asked us. We said, let's see if we can make this happen. And now here we are. So, yeah, I agree. Fandom should get credit. I've heard from some other friends who have been in similar situations. I saw publicly Andy Robinson talking about how when CVG got shut down, they asked for a similar scenario, and they were denied that from, I think, Future that owned them. So, yeah, these people have been through this a number of times before, and they don't get the opportunity to do this. So, yes, you're right. Shout out to Fandom for making that possible.
And I think, that was something Dirty Dan Ryckert had blue skied out as well. Skeeted, are we still saying that he skeeted?
We just say post now.
We just post now? Okay. When he had put up the Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, WCW, WWE thing from way back in the day, which is a deep wrestling cut, but in storyline, Vince was about to buy WCW, right, his number one competitor, and then his son walked out and announced he owned WCW. The amount of times I have daydreamed, and this is not because they're bad, but because of how much it meant to me, of buying IGN or buying Podcast Beyond or whatever. Like, the amount of times I've daydreamed, I've always in my head done I'd come out to Here Comes the Money and something stupid like that. So to see it actually happen, my question to you, Jeff Grubb, have you taken the time, have you had a second to step out of this and really savor this moment? I think about, it's our 10th anniversary of going independent this year, right? I remember January 5th, 2015 as a blur that month. I talked about it in my PAX keynote with Ben Starr, right? Winning the Game Award is really where I was able to be like, whoa, we've done something crazy here. Like, are you able to understand right now, or is it just meetings and just planning and just trying to get this thing going?
Yeah, I think if people watch that PAX panel, you might be able to see it on my face. I really have no idea, but I had been sort of in this situation of locking away feelings and emotion over here so I could just do the work. And it had been like that for, more than a week, 10 days. And people do that all the time. You go, you want to it wasn't some thing that people aren't familiar with, but I was doing this in a very hard way for a very long time. It what felt like a long time to me. So in this moment when it was like this catharsis of actually getting to say it and it happening, it was difficult to go into the moment. And it I was actually working on that throughout the entire panel, just look into the audience, actually look at the people's faces instead of sort of being like, oh, if I look in their faces, their emotions will reflect my emotions and I'll have to deal with that. Well, now's the time I actually should and get to deal with that. So it was a process. I was actually struggling with that a little bit. And it's still a process of just being like, oh, can I sit here and think, oh, we did something? And yes, it has begun to happen in a very basic way. But of course, now it's Monday. We are having meetings. It's time to get to work. And I think when I go to do a show, we did a Gamescast mornings this morning, and it was great to be back. And just seeing the chat there, that's the part where it's like, oh yeah, there's the familiar faces. Those are the names of people that I know watch the show. Here's a ton of new people, but the vibes are there, and I can latch onto that and be like, this is the ground I get to stand on. And now let's build something even bigger here. I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, I think, the power of Giant Bomb has always been that community. Obviously, the personality is driving it, but the community that surrounds it. And, to watch that community mourn, I think, really the loss of you, Dan saying he wouldn't work there again, Minotti saying he was gone, and then also that, oh, man, what happens next? It was so interesting as an outsider, right, of watching Blue Sky, watching the Giant Bomb subreddit, seeing people post that they, I'm unsubscribing for the first time ever, And then when you made this announcement, that celebration of all the Ewoks, right, of putting up this screenshot of their reactivated, Matt Piscatella putting out that he had reactivated his Giant Bomb subscription, where can they activate that, by the way?
GiantBomb.com/join. You get all the information there, please. GiantBomb.com/join.
It was really special to see that, you know what I mean? Especially having lived that and continuing to live that, right? Seeing the fact that you had an audience run back to you to go do this. And I think, you know, you and I have had many a conversation about this kind of content and doing this and living this life. And I was so happy to see you on that panel at PAX East talk about that, right? Of like, it's us, it's the five of us, and we are going to, you said the same thing we said to our audience, double down on you. We are going to make the goofy-ass, weird content you seem to like, and if you like that, please go support this, because you're our boss now, kind of thing. And we don't have to worry about corporate overlords or whatever, like, the SEO idea is going to be.
Yep, yeah, and it's, like I said, it's a very... North Star thing to have, to be able to turn to them and be like, all right, when I say something dumb, and I'm like, wouldn't it be crazy if we did that? And then 50 of you are shouting back, don't just say that, go make it. It's like, well, now's the time, and I'm very ready to do that.
Like you said, you already back at it in the content mines. Game Mess Mornings did pop off this morning. Of course, you can watch that Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., correct?
Yeah. Well, we do a Bombcast on Tuesday, so Monday and then Wednesday through Friday. But yes, that's right.
Of course, you had a brand new sponsor. Who was it?
We had a sponsor. It's a evil corporation called Kinda Funny Games. Came in as our very first sponsor. I wouldn't have it any other way, Greg. Thank you so much, man. That ruled.
Thank you, Jeff. You know, I mean, again, when you guys talked to us privately that this was all happening, that was the first thing, you know, we hung up after giving our 2 cents of advice, me and Tim, and I was like, we need to sponsor this, right? Because I think it's such a crazy full circle thing for us to be 10 years into our journey, right? And so much of it is this year, looking back at 2015, looking back at starting this and seeing you guys really take this step, which isn't the same, but is the same, but you know what I mean? Like, it's so similar, I guess, in the long...
It's the 2025 version of it, right? Yeah.
And you know, to celebrate that and be a part of that and be there for you however we can be, of course. I don't think you'll need it. You have such a great community, but we're happy to be there. And of course, hopefully see more of this. You know, how much we love and respect all of you, how much we like working with you. So to see you be able to branch out here on your own and do that, and hopefully have more of us over, more of you over, it'll be great stuff.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking forward to, and it's I think what we've all realized over these last 10 years, really, since you guys made it happen, is the idea of competing websites is gone. It is very much I'm sure you see this where, or maybe even it's happened to you. Like, I've listened to podcasts and content creators, and then I sort of just like find myself phasing away from them and I'm like looking for somewhere else to go. And then eventually I'll phase back into them and being able to like have a large community of people making kind of similar content where it's like, oh, here's a different vibe, a different flavor where people can bounce back and forth between. I think that's healthy and good for everybody. So I'm ready just to support everyone in the scene and keep us all going as best as we possibly can, because at this point, we've learned if we don't do it, no one else will. We cannot rely on corporations coming into this space anymore. And I don't blame them for balking at this space, like looking at it and be like, how do we make this make sense? Like, we're all trying to figure that out too, but I think it's best if we figure it out together on our own.
100%. You've got a bunch of super chats here. Jordan White says, ecstatic to see you back on top, Jeff. I knew Greg from IGN, but Giant Bomb is where I first heard about Kinda Funny. Glad to see it come full circle and the overall love between all of you. Keep the crossovers coming. We hope
Thank
to.
you. I really appreciate it.
So like you talked a little bit about, you know, your plans. Okay, you got Game Mess, you got the Bombcast. What are the other shows we're doing? And then, you know, SGF's not far away. You guys usually have a pretty cool couch there.
Yeah, it's definitely, that was one of the reasons I was almost late to the show, was in a meeting about exactly that. The other shows, like, Blight Club's back on Wednesday. There's a new season with Mike Minotti starting the next Bad Game. It's our Bad Game show where me, Dan Ryckert, and Mike Minotti take turns. The other two pick the bad game for the third person who's playing, and we take turns playing through the entirety of the bad game. We've done Bubsy 3D, Daikatana. We've done Mike's done several Mortal Kombat games, including
Superman 64 is a standout as well.
Hell yeah.
Yes, Dan did Superman 64. Lots of great episodes of that, and it's one of our favorite things to do. That's back on Wednesday with a new season, so tune into that. That'll be in the afternoon sometime.
I hear Minotti is going to look real cool.
Dude, he's gonna look so cool. We also wear costumes. Exactly. We the person who's playing has to dress up as one of the characters from the game as well. So there will be a costume reveal and a game reveal all in the new season. But you're right. Summer Game Fest is coming up fast. And when I first joined Giant Bomb, like the future of doing a nightly show at, E3, the Summer Game Fest, whatever we were calling it at the time, was in question, because it was definitely something that, like, Ryan Davis started in a lot of ways. Yes, absolutely. And then Jeff Gerstmann carried that forward in such an awesome way.
Also great, but not late.
And exactly. I would watch those things and just be like, yeah, man, this is it. Like, just getting all these cool people from the industry in a place where they can just be real with one another and talk. I always super respected it. So when I got a chance to go there and say, and then people say, hey, what do you want to do? What's important to you? I'm like, well, I think we should keep doing the couch. And they're like, well, if you want to do it, make it happen. And being empowered to do that was great. And now it's like, okay, it's on our own, and it's going to be even more challenging because we're kind of figuring things out without this. This is the bad thing of not having a corporation with a corporate credit card where we can just swipe and figure out the money later. We're going to have to do this on our own, but it's still important to me. I still want to make it happen. Yeah, Jesse Fatelli's going to bring the inflatable hammock, and maybe I'll just lay in
hammock. That's the word we're going to call this thing.
Yeah, I think that's how it's marketed on Amazon. All right. I'm 42. I've looked for all kinds of hammocks, man.
I don't want to know about that one. Inky Mess super chats and says, happy to see good things happen for good people. Do you need a volunteer executive assistant, Jeff Grubb?
I need a lot of things. We'll see what we can make happen.
There's a lot, yeah. 62 Mike says, hope you guys collab more in the future. Kind of funny cross Giant Bomb Heart. I hope so too, 62 Mike. Dan on Gamescast right after this. And then,
you guys got to play that Among Us 3D? We were like looking for a chance to play that. That would be a good time.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
Okay.
make that happen the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you let us know. Yeah, we'd be down for that.
Yeah, we'll
there's
ring
a
your
big
doorbell.
show coming up. Okay, and then let me come on the couch again. Not that way. That sounded weird phrasing.
Wow. Okay, JD Vance. Jesus.
Also, okay. First off, you can't. Your brand currently is that Mike Minotti jerked off at a Rainforest Cafe. Don't turn it around on me.
He doesn't even like.
Greg, I get it. You saw this couch and you had feelings.
I'm ready to come on it.
Mike doesn't like that joke, and yet he went to Disney and couldn't help himself. As soon as he saw one, he's like, this will get me attention, and took multiple pictures in front of a Rainforest Cafe.
Loves the attention. Yep. And then the final one for right now comes from Propaganda Panda, who says, super chats and says, join us in the Giant Bomb Discord's nerds. And there are plenty of nerds here that I'm sure will flock to go do that, so don't worry about that one.
Come hang with us, guys.
Yeah. Mr. Nice Guy Rise says, if we don't do a kind of giant funny bomb collaboration t-shirt, frankly don't know what we're even doing here anymore. So happy for Jeffy and the team. We are happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're figuring out merch too. We'll see.
A lot of moving parts once you're out there on your own. I guess that's before I want to move on to other video game news, whatever, blah, blah. But for you taking over, like, I'm so shocked that you had the funding up, of course, giantbomb.com/join, right away, because I thought you'd end up doing Patreon when you went out there. I didn't think you'd be able to swing your own thing right out the gate and stuff like that. How hard has that been to get the .com into a state to show and tell?
Well, that's been the biggest challenge because the Giant Bomb was founded originally because there was this technology that they had to build a website and build a wiki and all this stuff, but it's been, it's been in the fridge for a while, and now a lot of stuff is built on top of it. So there's going to be some issues with us getting the .com to work in the ways we need it to, and so that's going to be the biggest headache we have. In fact, if anyone has engineers or ideas, let me know. But yeah, so we're still working with Fandom on that side of things. They are helping us out, like, by hosting the website, and they're going to continue to help us with that for a while. That is, like, there is a little bit of a ticking time bomb there. We're like, all right,
it's like get out of mom's attic. All right, it's time you guys branched out, got your own .com.
That's all we got. Yeah.
And then final super chat on this thing, Bander SN says, not my idea, but Giant Bomb versus Kind of Funny Fantasy Critic 2026. I have seen that making the rounds on both of our subreddits.
Yeah, we love Fantasy Critic. We think
you
guys did an excellent job on that too. So I think when I heard you guys, I'm like, we're doing that for sure. I think we would kill you. I think we would trounce you. I think you guys would be done.
Have you met Barrett? He's got no life. All right, trust me, he'll win. He'll win.
I think me and Barrett both got a Bolitra last year for like $1 each, and I was like, yeah, that's my dude.
Because he listened to you. That's the thing. The problem is he listens to the Bombcast. That's how he would know.
Another Giant Bomb fam over here. Shout out to Janet Choa, who talked about that game for like 4 weeks straight. And then also, fuck you, Miller. I got a life.
Rush Former's got no life. We'll see who wins.
Right now, I am winning, but I'm also checked out because my team is filled up and I can't do anything for the rest of the year. So I'm probably not winning.
I like that idea. We should look into that next year, but of course, that'll be next year, not right now. because right now we're living in the moment, all right? We're talking about independent content creators like Giant Bomb, giantbomb.com/join. Go support the 5 of them. They're amazing. They're doing that. And of course, support us. Kind of Funny. If you didn't know, Kind of Funny is an 11-person small business all about live talk shows all day long on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We're doing shows about video games, reviews, previews, questions, and answers. We're doing reviews of The Last of Us and Spoilercast. We're talking about Andor. We're doing in review for Alien vs. Predator. We're putting out all sorts of crazy content each and every weekday for your amusement. And if you really like that, please pick up a Kind of Funny membership. You get it on patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple and Spotify. You get all of our shows ad-free. You'd get, and that's, of course, more than 80 a month. Or no, yeah, that's right. More than 20 a week, 80 a month. And you get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a 15 to 20-minute podcast I do each and every day, which is an hour-long podcast every week for you. And, of course, you get good karma for supporting us. So please consider doing it. But right now, you're not using your membership benefits. So here's a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized sunglasses that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Take it from Tim Geddes, who rocks his Shady Rays every day going on Pokemon Go walks, out and about SF looking dope. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com, promo code FUNNY. This episode is brought to you by Aura Frames. Every day we're taking photos from big events to silly moments, but doesn't it sometimes feel like all of your favorite photos are just stuck on your camera roll? Wouldn't it be great to have an easy way to share and enjoy them with friends and family? That's where Aura comes in. Aura makes it effortless to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone, so your favorite memories are always within view. Plus, you can personalize and preload an Aura frame for a unique and special gift. We love Aura frames in this office. Roger has one at home he got for his fiance's birthday, and she absolutely loves it. It takes about 2 minutes to set up the frame using the Aura app. Add unlimited photos and videos and invite as many people as you want to an Aura frame. There are absolutely no hidden fees or subscriptions, and for a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by going to auraframes.com to get $20 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver Mat frame. That's AURA frames.com, promo code AURA20. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. This episode's brought to you by Rocket Money. With prices going up on just about everything lately, being smart with your money isn't just a good idea, it's essential. But managing subscriptions, tracking spending, and cutting costs can feel overwhelming. Lucky for you, Rocket Money takes the guesswork out of it so you can easily make smart decisions. Rocket Money has helped multiple members of Kind of Funny learn they were still paying for things they totally didn't even realize. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. And then you get alerts if bills increase in price, there's unusual spending activity, or if you're close to going over budget. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year while using the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny today. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny.
Number 2 on the Roper Report, Nintendo president concerned about potential impact of U.S. tariffs on Switch 2 demand. This is Viritri Townsend over at IGN. Nintendo just released its financial results for the 2025 fiscal year, April 2024 to March 2025, and in the accompanying online press conference on May 8th, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa shed more light on the company's high expectations for the Switch 2, as well as the obstacles that could impede its success, including U.S. tariffs. As the June 5th launch date approaches, gosh darn is that close, Jeff Grubb. Do you ever stop and think about how close we are to Switch 2?
No, I'm waiting for it, but yes, I can't stop thinking about it.
How many did you get? You getting a lot for the whole family? What are you doing?
I actually do have 2 ordered, and I think can I still buy the one Nintendo offered to send me? Because I do have a niece and a nephew that are graduating. I was thinking about getting them a Switch too.
Did you get the email this weekend?
I did not.
Yes, I got the email. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
you got to play your Switch enough, all right? I mean, just be a real gamer.
I thought it was like 30 hours lifetime, though, right? Like, it should have been.
It's
I should have cleared
50.
it.
You probably only hit like 45 or something.
Yeah.
Fake Nintendo.
Because I'm reopening it. Yeah, no, I bought, nothing in here. I don't like that one bit. Back to it. Whatever.
I didn't get one either, Greg. It's fine. And I've definitely put in.
I'm in the top percentile of Nintendogs over here.
As June 5th launch date approaches, demand for the Switch 2 continues to boom, with Nintendo's official pre-order lotteries being massively oversubscribed, especially in Japan. Nintendo is, quote, working to strengthen their production to meet demand and are forecasting Switch 2 hardware sales of 15 million units and software sales of 45 million units worldwide in the 2026 fiscal year, which of course is April 2025 to March 2026. Not only that, the Japanese game giant is hoping that the Switch 2 launch effect will boost the overall sales for fiscal year 2026 by 63.1% and then approximately $13.04 billion in financial profits boosted as well to $2.05 billion. However, the president's speech revealed concerns about the U.S. market and the future profitability of the Switch 2. As a next-gen console with extra features and improvements over the original, the Switch 2 console is more expensive than its predecessor. Quote, the unit sales price is high, and there are corresponding hurdles. However, we are aiming for a launch on par with the first Switch, he said. These corresponding hurdles include worries about the U.S., which has been Nintendo's biggest market for the Switch 1. The president raised concerns about the possible impacts of Trump's tariffs on the Switch 2 and the American people's spending power. In the online press conference, he stated that the tariff policy will impact Nintendo's profits by tens of billions of yen. He added, quote, if prices of daily necessities like food increase because of the tariffs, then people will have less money to spend on game consoles. If we were to adjust the price of the Switch 2 in response to the tariffs, this could decrease demand, end quote. Nintendo revealed more details about how it is factoring in the U.S. tariffs in its shareholders' Q&A summary published on the evening of May 9th. Quote, we have made this forecast based on the assumption that tariffs on Japan, Vietnam, and Cambodia will be 10%, and tariffs on China will be 145%, Furukawa said. He noted that Switch hardware for the North American market is primarily made in Vietnam, while some Nintendo products, including accessories and amiibos, are made in China. Nintendo expects that tariffs will mainly affect hardware and is assuming that physical software will not be affected as it doesn't fall under any of the tariff categories announced by the U.S. government last month. Although Nintendo's basic policy on tariffs is to treat them as a cost and factor them into prices, Furukawa also emphasized the need to sustain the momentum of Switch 2 sales and to make sure that the new console is widely adopted. Therefore, Nintendo will carefully consider various factors when changing any pricing, including its acceptability to customers. Jeffrey Grubb, how fucked are we?
Yeah, so look, we are definitely still fucked on a lot of this stuff. I think we're about to get the shelves being empty for a lot of products here in the next couple of weeks. So we're fucked in a lot of ways when it comes to the Switch 2 and Nintendo's concerns. Things continue to change fast, and the uncertainty certainly is one of the major problems for a company like Nintendo as they try to plan for a launch of a console and try to create messaging to consumers so they can feel good about selling a product at a certain price, and they know how they need to frame that and all that stuff. It's impossible to do when things aren't certain, and things have changed again. So I think it was announced earlier today that China and the United States are pausing the tariffs. Now, that doesn't mean they're going all the way down to zero or anything like that. In fact, really, this is wild because the markets are thrilled about this. They're very excited. And yet the tariffs on China for the next 90 days are going to be 30%, which is kind of around the number we were talking about when the campaign was ending. It's well, he's going to do tariffs. It could be as much as 30%. That's about, it really cuts into the profit margin for a company like Nintendo still. So they will still have to deal with that. But 30% is way better than 145%.
1,000%, right? Which is one of those stupid things that we're sitting here saying, oh man, okay, at least it's reasonable when it's still not reasonable what's happening.
Exactly. Yes, we've been worked into this a little bit for sure. Yeah, but still, That's where we're at, where this is something that feels at least workable. Like a company can work with that. Now, the problem is it's still only a 90-day pause. This dude loves tariffs, so he's going to come back to them if he gets bored with something else. But in the moment, it does feel like the market reaction and a lot of the fears that happen. I won't go into it with like, the U.S. dollar being, deprecated by a lot of organizations around the world, and how that's a very scary thing for a federal government in the United States.
Yeah.
But that does feel like he had that explained to him, and at least he found out that stove he touched that everyone told him was hot actually is hot.
Yeah.
He's not going to remember it for very long, but maybe that buys us some time.
Yeah, of course, just to give you a quick glance at that, New York Times reporting today, U.S. and China agree to temporarily slash tariffs in bid to defuse trade war. The United States and China on Monday took a step to defuse the trade war between the world's two largest economies, agreeing to temporarily reduce the punishing tariffs that they've imposed on each other. The move by the United States, after President Trump had repeatedly declared that he would not lower tariffs without concessions from China, represented an acknowledgement of the costs of an all-out trade war with China. Despite the White House's bluster, the Trump administration ultimately backed off, for now, from its steepest tariffs and agreed to hold more formal talks with Beijing after companies and consumers started showing signs of economic strain. To your point, though, it's a temporary pause. And I think that's like, I said something, I guess when the tariffs first got announced and Nintendo delayed the pre-order, I don't know, somewhere in that conversation, I was like, I just feel bad for Nintendo that they announced this on the day Trump announced this. And it was like, oh, don't feel bad for this corporation. Don't feel bad. And I'm like, well, again, I don't feel bad for the corporation as much as the people who worked for years on this goddamn Nintendo Switch and got it to the cheapest price they could while still making a profit. And we're like, this is going to be great and people are going to love this toy we're making. And then they put it out and then this shit happens. And then now there's still a moving target. Like you're talking about, this is a 90-day pause. So it's not even they can lock it in. I thought it was so telling when they finally put up the pre-orders and were like, hey, this is the launch price of the Nintendo Switch 2. They kept saying this is what it's launching at, which to me leaves the door open, of course, that if the world gets crazy after the launch, they're going to have to change this. Is this the cheapest we'll ever get a Nintendo Switch 2 for?
Yeah, I mean, the Nintendo Switch 1 didn't go down in price, and the reality of that market is very different than this one.
Yep.
And none of those realities have changed, really. The component costs, people lining up to get those components for a variety of different consumer products, keeping those prices high for a very long time, challenging labor markets around the world, whatever. All those reasons are still there. And then this is on top of that. And then on top of that being tariffs, and then on top of the tariffs, the certainty is out the window. So it's just so hard to be in this situation. I agree. I feel really bad for anyone trying to launch a product, or especially something as high profile as the Switch 2, which everyone's going to have an opinion on, and not everyone's going to understand all the nuance, nor should they have to, of course. So yeah, people are mad about the high price. I get it. But boy, I feel bad for everyone involved.
Yeah, what a shitty situation to be put in for no reason other than a moron. But I digress.
Just a big dumb bitch.
Just a big old dumb fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Let's move on to happier news. Number 3, Fallout TV star says his character's plot has been planned for up to at least season 5 or 6. This is the one, the only, Chris Scullion at VGC, another news outlet you should support over at VGC.news.
I subscribe to their Patreon.
Exactly right. Jordan Midler, a huge person.
He's so big.
He's big. You know what I mean?
I'm scared.
Yeah, I know. And we called him once, and he held up cans to his head, and I'll tell you, you can just see. You can just see how large this man is. Of course, there's a super chat question for you. How many seasons do you want from the Fallout TV show? Super chat over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames to be part of the show with your opinion. Anyways, back to this. One of the lead actors in the Fallout TV series says his character's arc ends around season 5 or 6, suggesting its creators envision a long run for the show. Season 2 of the Fallout show just wrapped production last week, meaning it may still be some time before it appears on Amazon Prime Video. However, during a recent panel appearance at Comic-Con Liverpool, actor Aaron Moten, who plays Maximus in the show, said his character's story is supposed to end 3 or 4 seasons later. Quote, I was told when I sat down to do the series that we would have a starting point, and they gave me the end point, Moten explained in a clip posted to the show's Reddit page. Back to the quote. And that endpoint hasn't changed, but it is season 5, 6 for the endpoint. We've always known that we're going to take our time with the development of our characters, end quote. Moten's comments are obviously not confirmation that the series will last until season 5 or 6 because numerous factors could result in its cancellation before then. Jeff Grubb, how many seasons of a Fallout show do you want?
It's tough because media has changed in terms of how you consume TV so much over time. And it's like, I think at one point I would have been like, man, you should try to get to 7 every time. A good show should be like, if it can go to 7 seasons, but that's definitely not been the case recently. I think a bunch of really good episodes over 5 to 6 seasons. I think 5, honestly, is where I would be. So you don't have to drag things on. You don't have to try to, and I hate the use of the term filler for TV show. Everything matters to these characters. All of it is character development. It all fills in something in the end. But you don't want to try to elongate when you don't have something else to actually back that up. So if they have enough for 5 to 6 seasons, I think they should just go to 5 and really just pack it in there and make it as good as possible.
I love the idea of having an endpoint. I wonder if that's his character's endpoint or the show's endpoint. I feel like what always happens for me with the shows I love that then turn to trash is that you have a great idea for a season 2, a season 3, and then it becomes we got to keep going, and that's when you get Smallville, the witch season. You're like, what the fuck is this? Why is Lana a witch right now? This is awful. Or Lex leaves the show and like, we're gonna power through. Like, that was a bad decision as well. I digress. So yeah, for me with this, like, I loved Fallout Season 1 so much. I'm so excited for Season 2. I hold that hope that the Fallout 3 remastered, Oblivion treatment drops alongside Fallout Season 2. That's my prediction. That's my hope. But yeah, I'd want them to go as long as they're going to be able to keep up that caliber of it. And for me, it's so much not about necessarily one person as much as that world, which I think is an ace up their sleeve of don't do the Walking Dead thing. I don't need 3 or 4 spin-offs, but have it be that Ella Purnell winds down, Maximus winds down. We go off, but we found these new characters that we're still going to chase and find and go with.
Yeah, you're right. There's so much lore to pull from, and so many fun things. I mean, the Vault experiments themselves. They've done a lot with that already, but that is kind of an endless well at a certain point for a TV show. So yeah, I really hope they get a chance to lock onto the ones that they think are the best for telling their story, and then do the most with those as possible.
What did you think of the first season?
I really enjoyed the first season. It was it's definitely something where I was I had relatively high expectations, actually, because I think I was, as I was watching the trailers, I was looking at it like, this looks like it should actually work. They're finding a tone, but that, like, my high expectations for TV these days is pretty low overall. So it's like, as long as you're just entertaining, we're going to be good. And then I think it did enough to get me be like, oh no, these are characters you're actually going to care about, which is, if you get there, I'll watch your TV show. That's all I really need, is characters I can care about. And they did that. They really nailed that.
100%. Yeah, I was surprised by how much, even as a Fallout fan, how much I loved that show. Like, I think we're all so trained to be, all right, it's a video game thing. Are they being respectful? Is it actually going to work? But I adored that, and so I'm super stoked for season 2 and maybe through season 6. CJ Splits on super chats and says, feels like good TV shows top out at 5, season 5 maximum. So right there, right in line with what you think, Jeff.
5 to 6, yeah.
And then Kebab says, I implore Grubb, watch the original Namek art in Dragon Ball Z and tell us again there's no such thing as filler. And then he says JK. And they say JK.
Okay, listen.
They say JK.
When I was talking about art, I don't mean anime, of course. Come on, everybody.
Of course. No.
Listen, watch that Jeff's Bizarre Adventure panel from PAX as well that Jeff Bakalar and the crew over there did. And then come back to me and defend anime.
I don't watch Lucy James content.
Yeah,
Number 4. Number 4 on the Roper Report, Tony Hawk will campaign all he can for a remaster of Tony Hawk's Underground. This is the big man himself, Jordan Miller of VGC. Super chat question, how many Tony Hawk game remakes do you want? Back to Miller's reporting. Tony Hawk has said he will, quote, campaign all he can, end quote, for a remake of Tony Hawk's Underground series. Tony Hawk's Underground was the 5th game from the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater lineage, taking the series in a new direction with a story-focused campaign and more cutscenes. The game is a fan favorite for its take on skateboarding culture and its move away from the arcade-style goals of earlier games. Speaking at a preview event for the upcoming game, Tony Hawk was asked about the potential for remakes of the old games beyond the original 4 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. Beyond. Quote, I always have aspirations, Hawk told Screen Rant. It's not up to me generally. I'll campaign all I can, but I'm working with a much bigger company that's a lot smarter than me, end quote. Hawk went on to say that an underground remaster hasn't been discussed internally and that the success of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 could be a deciding factor in bringing back future games. One major obstacle in remaking the Tony Hawk's Underground series that has been avoided, however, as it was announced this weekend that Bam Margera, after months of speculation, will appear in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. You gotta have Bam. You gotta have Bam. What are we talking about out here? Jeff, where are you? You know, I work with Tim. So all I hear is how great Tony Hawk is, Pro Skater this, Pro Skater that, For me, my love of the Tony Hawk games begins with Thug. Thug is the one where I was like, oh, this is what I actually want. I wasn't one for high score chasing, doing this, combo that, blah, blah, blah. I liked the story business of it. Where do you come down on the pantheon of Tony Hawk games?
Oh, give me Tim Geddes so I can talk to a real gamer. Come on, let's go. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater has been like, I think when I first played the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I'm like, oh, this is what a video game should be. And I don't think my opinion has changed ever since.
Wow.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 3, these are like perfect video games to me.
Well, Thug was better than all of them, but here's Tim.
I continue to like the series, and Thug is great as well. Hey, Tim Geddes, come on, man. How good is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
All of them. Are you kidding me? My favorite games of all time. Congratulations, Grubb. I'm incredibly proud of you boys.
Love you, dude.
I don't know why I'm pulled in here, but now I'm kind of putting this all together. Tony Hawk fighting for a Thug remaster. I love it. You love to see it. He's managed to make things happen time and time again. I can't believe we're where we're at. I just spent the last couple days playing Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 remake. They are literally perfect. But we're going to do my preview of that on Friday with Jake Baldino joining us. So I'm very excited for that. Sorry, what's the question here?
I needed to talk to someone who really gets Tony Hawk. I couldn't just go through Greg. So I needed to just get you here and you tell me, hey, how good is Tony Hawk?
It's incredibly, incredibly good. And here's the thing. As I was walking on, I heard you saying that like 2, 3, 4 perfect games. And I absolutely agree with you. When it comes to just the gameplay and the arcade nature and just this is what a damn video game is, Tony Hawk 3 to this day, one of the highest rated Metacritic games of all time. And it's like, yeah, it freaking deserves it back then and now. There is something about Thug, though, that I think is different. Thug, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, just grew off of 4, which is where I think the mechanics peaked. And was just like, cool, what if we added it to so much more open areas and actually a compelling story and characters, unlike 4 that was like such a beta test for that kind of open
just nothing
gameplay style. So yeah, I think that undeniably Thug is the most special of all of them. But I also think that it is one that would need a remake that's different than the remakes we're getting here. Like it would need to, in my opinion, be a full reboot of the thesis of what Tony Hawk's Underground is, but you can't just take this game and do it again. It wouldn't work the same.
Thanks. Thank you, Tim. You said all the things I was going to say, but even better. I appreciate it.
There we go. I'll let you get back here, Greg. Very warm.
Too bad he's not the Game Showdown Season 3 champion, though, am I right?
Well, that's right. I can't take that away from you.
You can't take it away from me. A lot of people tried. They couldn't do it.
He's right. The Thug will have to be reworked. I think a Thug Pro, sort of like, obviously Thug Pro is a mod thing where people go online and play with each other.
Yeah.
Not like that. And I think, and I think like kind of taking inspiration from that, being like, okay, we did 1, 2, we did 3 and 4. Now let's just rework it for maybe a more online hangout version of this game, where then you can go do the Thug stuff separately. I think that could work.
Fair enough. Then before we transition out of this, would you question for you? What's your take on Skate? Are you excited for Skate this year?
Yeah, I've enjoyed Skate in the past, but I'm like, I was weird because I liked Tony Hawk better than Skate, and then I like 1080 more than like SSX, 1080 snowboarding, which is actually more technical, a little bit more similar to Skate.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Barrett.
Do you like Guitar Hero more than you like Rock Band?
I do. Yes, so it's like weird. There's no consistency there.
No, no. All of that is very consistent in terms of you like the kind of more arcadey feel than like the more simmy style stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what, like for snowboarding, I like the more the simmy one. Gotcha. 1080 is a little bit more simulated than SSX, but I'm excited for this new Skate, Greg, because they are going to go with that hangout online session. Like you are a bunch of bums skating all day and one friend could be doing the Mario Maker of like creating a level for you while you guys try some tricks and like you can get off the board and and just fall at any point and make some just fun madness. I think that's a really good idea for a skateboarding game in 2025.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I was a skate guy. I liked skate more. I mean, I liked Thug, like I said, but it was a big deal, obviously, when this happened and skate originally popped. So to have it return, I'm excited about. Obviously, there's been so much question about monetization, free to play, like what does it need to be a success? I don't know, but like I'm just excited to get my hands on it.
Yep, me too.
But guess what, Jeff? Getting my hands on skate would be big news. All right. And frankly, we got Giant Bomb going independent. We got 10 years of Kind of Funny. We got skate happening. That's all. I just don't. There's too much big news for me. I don't need that much big news. If I wanted smaller news, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
Well, you'd go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 5, Wii News, from Stephen Totillo's game file in an email titled Updates to Nintendo Account User Agreement and Nintendo Privacy Policy. Nintendo warns it may brick Switch systems whose users bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with the games and services. This is a big brouhaha over the weekend, Jeff. Nintendo's basically like, just don't be bad. We won't be bad. We're only going to do this if you're bad.
Seems draconian, but hey, yeah, I get it.
From Wesley Yinput, IGN.com, Claire, Obscure Expedition 33's developer, has released a patch across all platforms. The update makes a long list of fixes and crucially balanced changes, including nerfing Claire Obscure's most game-breaking build. The build in question was for the young fencer, Male? Male? And a sword called Medellum? Something wrong with his medulla oblongata, you know what I mean? Which unlocks a virtuose stance that deals 200% bonus damage. Players were combining this with ability stacking and the Stendhal skill, which deals extreme single target void damage to dish out billions of damage, enough to kill the final boss in just one hit. Let people have fun.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let the freaks be their freaks.
They want to go do all this stacking stuff. Let them live.
Yeah.
Did you play? Did you play Expedition, Jeffy?
I started it, and then all this started to happen, so I haven't had much time to actually play video games. But I really like that game. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I want to get back to it. Indiana Jones in the Great Circle is now Steam Deck verified. And then I added this bullet point. The biggest news of the day. It's probably not even deserving of Wii News, but it came late. Are you ready, players? This is a press release from Krispy Kreme. Ready, players? Krispy Kreme today announced an amazing collaboration with Bandai Namco Entertainment America Incorporated for Pac-Man's 45th anniversary, celebrating the global cultural icon with all new donuts inspired by the classic game. Fans will want to chomp these new donuts before it's game over. Available beginning today for a limited time at participating U.S. shops, the Krispy Kreme Cross Pac-Man collection features 3 new donuts in a nostalgic custom Pac-Man game dozen box. That's the sweetest Pac-Man level ever.
Who are we sending over to pick this up?
I can't believe I'm so upset that it came in so late. I would have picked them up on the way here. We work by Krispy Kreme. I love it.
This happen.
God damn.
Any excuse to get Krispy Kreme, I'll take it. Let's go.
Yeah. This is definitely the push I needed. If they don't show up today, I will bring them in tomorrow, of course.
Oh, this looks so good.
And that is the end of Wii News. We asked people watching live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to keep us honest with you or wrong, but nobody submitted anything, so we were perfect game today, Jeff. We also, of course, ask everybody to super chat with your questions, comments, concerns for us, the guests, whatever it may be about the game's news. We still have plenty to get in here. Postman Dan just says, "Hi, Grubb. Hi, Greg. Good job today." Thank you.
Thank you.
We like that. Christian says, "Ask Jeff, how can he shit on anime after watching Gaara vs. Lee fight?"
You're right. I'm a bad person. That's so good.
Good. Then Mad Rock says, note about the Stendhal nerf. It still hits like a fucking truck after a 40% damage nerf. So
that
maybe
makes sense. Billions
aren't broken.
40%. I would take 40% of billions.
Whiskey Samurai says, be careful putting these giant bomb guys on content. They might steal your company from you. JK, love you, Grubb and Dan. Parentheses, and the rest of the Mount Bombmore crew. Oh, I like that.
Insatiable.
Mount Bombmore. Now you're going to become the villain now. You're buying up everybody. You buy us. You buy Min-Max. Exactly. You start like, well, don't curse. Okay, don't talk about
giant bomb face on Unicron from that Transformers movie. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Koba writes in and says, you should be interviewing the guys who freaked Norman Reedus over the weekend. These giant bomb guys don't look like they freaked it the way those jabronis did. Again, 60 plus hours from Roger and Mike streaming Death Stranding. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I hope you are resting. Or maybe that was you who just came in. I don't know what's going on over there. Icy Wiener says in a super chat, please don't fire Mike and Roger. They were going for a level 27 hype train, whatever that is. Apparently, if they were calling everyone in the company, Nick answered but was about to do comedy. I answered and was brushing my teeth to go to bed. So that's the dual lives of the founders right there, of Nick and me. I had gotten Ben to sleep and it was time to go to bed. And then I had to walk outside to answer this phone call at night. Like, what the hell is happening? And then they all apologized dramatically.
Yeah, I heard they called everybody, but I never got a call, so...
You know, you're in a silent society. You go right to a voicemail, I guess. Mac and Awesome corrects me. Mike did get the pizza. The quote goes, "This thing smells great." Takes a bite. "This shit is nasty." Don't buy Red Robin pizza. Buy a burger.
Yeah, come on.
He also got a burger from what I saw.
Fair enough. God, this man in his resting heart rate, he's going to die. 62 Mike super chats and says, hearing that Greg and Tim gave you guys advice puts a lump in my throat. Love you all. We love you. 62.
It was very nice. Very kind. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys. And then the final super chat of the day comes from Bagman15, and I assume that this is from the wee hours of the 60-hour long stream. What do you believe are the top 3 breakfast juices in America? Hashtag freak it. I mean, orange juice number 1, right? We're not going to be clever here.
No way. Yeah, it's OJ's number 1. I guess if you separate pulp or no pulp, those can just be 1 and 2, honestly.
Ooh,
yeah.
Very good call. Very good call.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I don't know, grapefruit. I'm not drinking juice to begin with.
Yeah. Grapefruit juice probably is the one. I was going to go apple juice, but for breakfast, people go grapefruit. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe you make your own juice with some celery and shit. I don't know.
Oh no, then we're getting into smoothie territory and stuff.
Yeah, maybe they just go. Yeah, is smoothie juice. Not a juice?
No, if it's got a texture to it like that, right?
Just go straight into smoothie.
Xbox here in the chat says real pineapple juice is perfection. I fuck with the pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice is good. Yeah,
I would do pineapple juice. Absolutely, yeah.
What I used to do at IGN when I was dirt poor is I would buy cans of Dole pineapple, and that would be my breakfast at IGN. Where I had a can opener, and I would open it there. I would drink the juice, and then I would eat the pineapple, and that would be my breakfast at work.
And then you had dental coverage, right? Because that just sounds like all sugar.
Yeah. No, I did. Good. I did. Yeah, I still do. Yeah, it never caught up to me that way. Perhaps the Pop-Tarts did. When they finally introduced, well, first off, they gave free snacks when we moved to the new office, and that was because it was a MySpace building. And then a week and a half into being there, they had to send out a message to all the IGN editors saying, don't hoard snacks at your desk. They're up there for free. And then when we didn't do that, they moved to subsidized snacks where they put them in and sold them for 25 cents. And that's when me and Nick Colin would go up there every day when they restocked the Pop-Tarts and buy all the Pop-Tarts in the machine for 25 cents because that was such a steal, such a deal.
God, you're such a leader in this space.
I'll tell you
something.
If Giant Bomb needs to know how to stretch $1, you're talking to the right guy. Order up some cans of pineapple. You'll be all set. Don't listen to Andy and these cans of chili. That's not happening. That's not doing it at all. I digress. This has been another episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily. Thank you for joining us and hanging out with us. Of course, Jeff Grubb, thank you for taking time out of what I can only imagine a very hectic schedule right now to come hang out with us. I wish you so much goodwill, so much love, so much joy, and I really hope you get to feel it. Ride the lightning right now, because I can tell you it goes really, really quickly, and then it'll just be back to being the extraordinary becomes ordinary so quickly. So I really hope you have a time to sit in this and bask in all the love you've gotten from this industry, because, of course, you deserve it, Jeff. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves Giant Bomb.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We'll do our best. You're right. We should take a moment. I'm going to do that.
Everybody should head over to giantbomb.com/join. Support this brand new independent operation of 5 folks who are doing amazing coverage, just like Dan will be doing on the Gamescast right after this, as he hangs out with Blessing, Tim, and Andy to answer your Death Stranding 2 questions and give out your previews. If this is your first time around, or maybe you're just saying, man, Kinda Funny's been doing a lot of great stuff lately. Hey, we're Kinda Funny, an 11-person small business all about live video game talk shows. You can tune in with us each and every day, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple and Spotify for the podcast versions. If you love what we do, go ahead and join our community as well. You can pick up a membership for $10 over on patreon.com/kindafunny, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple and Spotify. Get all 20 of our shows plus a week There's 20 plus, whatever. It ranges because of Screencast. Oh, man. Are we doing a Superman Screencast trailer reaction? Oh, you know we are. I digress. And, of course, you get a daily dose of me, 15 to 20-minute podcast. It's an hour long, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, Patreon, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. If you're not ready to make that jump, please like, subscribe, share wherever you love getting content and enjoying it. And until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.